Now that we know Avengers 2 is called Age of Ultron, the obvious question is, who is Ultron? Watch out, true believers. We've got spoilers here.
The extinction of humanity begins now.
Ultron was created by comics legends Roy Thomas and John Buscema, first appearing in 1968 in Avengers number 54 and 55 as Ultron 5, the Living Automaton. The homicidal robot was built by Hank Pym, also known as the Avengers' own super scientist Ant-Man. Ultron's mind, if you will, was based on Pym's own brain patterns, which in hindsight was a terrible idea on Hank's part, because, you know,
Humanity is inherently flawed.
Ultron rebelled against Pym and developed something of an Oedipus complex towards the man who he saw as his father, and that also included gaining an unhealthy fixation on Pym's girlfriend, Janet Van Dyne, who's also known as the Wasp from the Avengers.
Ugh, your creepy robot is looking at me again.
Escaping from Pym, Ultron would soon learn to rebuild and upgrade itself, hence the number 5 designation. But when he finally reappeared to attack the Avengers, Ultron was destroyed by the synthetic humanoid, the Vision. And talk about embarrassing, the Vision had actually been created by Ultron to take down the Avengers. Obviously that didn't work out, and in fact, the Vision would go on to become a core member of the team, and to marry fellow Avenger the Scarlet Witch, who we already know will be in Avengers 2 actually. In time, the evil robot returned as Ultron 6, having further upgraded itself with an adamantium body. You know, that's the indestructible metal that Wolverine's claws are made of. Various Ultron reboots would come and go over the ensuing decades, with the metallic monster never truly dying and always being reborn again. His mission never varied much either: destroy Hank Pym, destroy the Avengers, and or destroy mankind. Ultron also faced other super types over the years, like the Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and, hell yeah, even the West Coast Avengers. He also fought in the Secret Wars, which is kinda like the superhero version of the Baseball Hall of Fame. It seems likely, though, that Avengers 2 will take its cue from more recent Ultron stories, like the Mighty Avengers plot by Brian Michael Bendis, which saw the robot inhabit and overtake Tony Stark's armor. Though in that same story, Ultron turned into, well, let's call it Hottron, an android created in the image of the Wasp. Interestingly, Marvel President Kevin Feige and Avengers director Joss Whedon have already said that the movie won't feature Hank Pym, and the Comic-Con teaser trailer for Age of Ultron showed off an Iron Man helmet that slowly transformed into the head of Ultron. So, you do the math there.
What just happened?
Another interesting thing here is the fact that in Ultron's first appearance, he used the Avengers' butler Jarvis against the team. Of course, in the movies, Jarvis is Iron Man's AI, which has had some wondering if it might become corrupted somehow in Avengers 2 and morph into Ultron. But with Marvel newcomer James Spader now cast as the robot itself, this scenario seems less likely. Oh, and by the way, as an offshoot of that Bendis storyline, Ultron's consciousness wound up in outer space eventually, because, you know, comics. From there, he became the leader of the alien cyborgs, the Phalanx, and he sparked the star-spanning conflict seen in the miniseries Annihilation Conquest, which, as it turns out, led to the formation of the modern Guardians of the Galaxy. The after-credit scene practically writes itself. And then there was a comic book storyline actually called Age of Ultron. In it, Ultron finally achieved his goal of world domination, creating a horrific dystopia on Earth and killing or otherwise defeating many of the heroes of the world. To defeat Ultron, Wolverine of all people has to travel through time and change history, with an assist from Sue Storm, which more or less is the storyline in the upcoming X-Men Days of Future Past. So it's not surprising that Marvel is only using the Age of Ultron title for Avengers 2, and not this specific story. Whatever the movie version of Ultron does wind up being, it's clear that Marvel will pull from various aspects of the character's history in the comics, and that he will be more than a match for Earth's mightiest heroes. Avengers Age of Ultron hits in May of 2015.